So today we're going to work on building this workflow over here. And we're going to start with a quick introduction to what this workflow does. So this workflow runs on a regular basis and it creates a post for LinkedIn. But in between, it's also scanning SEO websites because I'm also in the SEO industry. It's scanning SEO websites. It's pulling out their data. It's pulling out article data. It's then formulating its own post based on that data, and it's posting it to my LinkedIn. So if you look at this over here, it's a scheduled trigger, and then from there it goes to an RSS feed, which pulls in the data or pulls in the articles on a regular basis, and then it filters out those articles to the ones we really want, and it then passes that on to the AI, and then the AI would send us a message on Telegram asking us if we approve that post, it gets posted on LinkedIn. If we do not approve that post, it goes back to the loop, sends us another post. If we approve it, it's posted on LinkedIn, and then it also goes back. It sends us another post, and if you approve that, that gets posted. If not, it goes back through the loop. And so it's a very simple workflow, but it's an immensely powerful workflow, and that's how one of the ways I was able to grow my presence on LinkedIn was to post this stuff on a regular basis. So in this video, we'll go into how we created this and how it works. So I've gone with the overview, but we're also making sure that we're not overusing AI in terms of we're not using a lot of tokens posts. So a post with this costs all around a cent or so, sometimes less depending on the length of the article. But we're stripping out everything as I'll show you, and we're just sending AI what we want to get the post that we want. The other thing is that this is a very simple layout or a very simple workflow. And unlike all the other stuff you see on YouTube, this is simple, it's easy to build, but it's immensely powerful. Like most simple executions or simple workflows, the simpler it is, the better it's going to be, even though it doesn't look great on camera or YouTube. But this really performs a function that you would otherwise have to do manually. So let's go ahead and start building this workflow. All right. So the first thing you want to do is create a LinkedIn developer account. And for that, you will go to linkedin.com/developers/apps. And then I already created an app over here, but you'll go ahead and create an app. So I'll just run through it real quick. So you can give it any name. In my case, I give it in like an n8n connection. So let's say n8n connection LinkedIn page. So over here will be your profile page. So you'll just click here and choose your profile. Or, if that doesn't show up, you go to your LinkedIn profile and you copy it, and you copy the profile link and you paste it into this. Next one is you create a new LinkedIn page. We don't want to do this. Link to your privacy policy. Again, this is not mandatory. A logo is not mandatory. You click here and do a create app. Okay. Once you've created app, now I don't want to do this. But once you've created your app, this is what you will get. And then you can also delete the app if you want. Just go ahead and click this over here. And as you can see, I didn't add a privacy policy. This is my logo here, but if you don't have a logo, that's fine. Then you go to authorization, and here you will have the client ID and the primary client secret. So we'll get to this when we start building the app, but this is the first step. You create your app in LinkedIn. We'll also create a Telegram bot. So I'll show you guys how to create that a little later on in the video. The first things first is we will add a schedule node. All right, this is a schedule trigger node. We want to run this every day. When you want to run this, maybe let's say 3 a.m., depending on what you want. And you can go ahead and just execute the step. See if this runs through. It gives you like the timestamp, the readable date, days of the week, year, and everything. Okay, this is important. Further on, we're going to check our posts for the dates. So we'll go back to Canvas, and over here we'll add RSS. All right, we'll do the RSS feed. Now we'll not connect. We'll just do this so that you guys see how this is connected. And over here, we post on the URL. So in my case, this website, Search Engine Land, they have a RSS feed, which you can get from over here. So you just copy the link from over here. You copy a link address, go back to your workflow and you paste in the URL. Go ahead, paste in the URL, execute step, right? We've got the steps over here and we've got the output. So this is working correctly. We'll go ahead and pin the output because we will need it later on. Okay, now we're extracting the RSS feed. But if you look at the RSS feed, there's a lot of gibberish. So, there's stuff we don't actually want with the RSS feed. So we want to filter all of that out so that we're not sending all of this to the AI, which will just use up our tokens. For instance, day of the week, year, all of this stuff, and then there's a lot of like HTML to look at the JSON, there's a lot of fluff in it. We don't really want to send all of this to the AI. We want to filter it down. So to do that, we'll add an edit fields node. Go ahead, edit fields. It's also called a set node. And we'll go back to schema. And what we want to do is we just want to put in the stuff and pass the stuff that's most useful. Okay. So for us, it's title of the article. And then uh we want not this content. Okay. We want this content over here. And then we also want the link. So copy the link over. And we want the publishing date, which is over here. All right, so nothing else. So we'll just go ahead and rename this. We'll do content. We'll do title. We'll do URL. And I'll just leave this as is. Go ahead and execute step. As you can see, this is a much cleaner output. I'll move myself to the left. And it just has the stuff you want. And so we need the date, but the date will not be passed to the AI. So go ahead and pin this because we will need to reference this data, and we'll close this out. The next thing we'll do is we'll add a filter because right up to this point, we're getting all of the feeds from the RSS, but we don't want feeds that are older than a day old. We just want the ones that are the freshest ones so that we can post about them. We don't want to post about stuff that's maybe like 3 days old, and things change a lot in the SEO industry. So we're filtering out the stuff that is really relevant. All right. So in the filter, I've changed a few things of how we filter. So we'll start with this over here. So here you'll drag in the publishing date. Okay. And then over here, you'll do date and time is after or equal to. And over here, you'll do curly brackets. So do curly bracket, curly bracket. Since I'm making this video on the 26th, there were no latest articles published. So usually I'll do 24 because 24 hours. So it's within the next past 24 hours, there was nothing really that was published. So if I execute and I put 24, because all of these are older than that. So just so that we can run this workflow, I will do 62. And this is almost like 3 days back. So this will be like on the 24th of December. So you will see that all of this from the 24th of December starts showing up. So we'll keep these 10 so that we can process this workflow, but you can change the hours to, however back you want to take it. So if you want to post from the past 24 hours, change this to 24. If you want from the past 48 hours, you can change it to 48. So we'll go ahead and we'll pin this and we'll go back to Canvas. So at this point, we've filtered out all the posts. We've got the latest posts. We've got all the stuff that we want in the posts. And if you're wondering what this is the output that we're seeing from this chain over here. Now at this point, we can, just add an AI. So we can, just add the AI agent over here. For now, let's close this up. We can add the AI agent and we can pass this from the filter to the AI agent, which will be perfectly fine. But the only problem is if you go back to the filter, we've got 10 items. If you run the workflow, all 10 items will be passed to the AI agent at the same time. And the problem with that is if you overload the AI agent, depending on how many RSS feeds you've got, 10 is not enough, by the way. But if you overload the AI agent, you will you'll run into problem. There might be a limitation. There might be a token limitation. There might be a response limitation. There are limitations, and I've run into them. And so the best way to handle this is to do this one post at a time, even though, there are a few different options here. What I like to do, let's just go ahead and break this over here. What I like to do is I like to add a loop. As I said that there are other ways to do this. I like to add a loop over because mainly this splits your posts into batches. What do we want to loop over? Now at this point, we don't want to pass the date. We've already done with the date. We don't necessarily want to pass in the URL, even though you always can. But it's just adding more fluff to what you have. So we're just gonna pass the content and the typo. So on the loop over, you don't really pass anything. So we'll just close this over, all right? We'll just delete this. I have no idea why. n8n adds this stuff to it. We'll just go ahead and delete. Okay. So now what we can do is we can connect the loop to the AI agent and we can open up the AI agent. So before we do, we need to add like a chatbot. So let's go ahead and AI. Without a chatbot, this will not work. So I already have an OpenAI account. If you don't have one, you can create one. You can also use OpenRouter if you have that. I'm using the cheapest model for now, but you can use an expensive model if you want, because all I want is just to surmise and write a very good post, which 4.1 mini does okay to some extent. But then once you're done testing, because I don't want to use up my tokens for an expensive model, I want to use the expensive model once I'm happy with how the flow works. So I'm going to just choose the cheapest model for now. Can go back to Canvas, and then I'll go to the AI agent. But before I do, I want to go back to the loop because I haven't pinned the output from here. So we'll go ahead and execute this step. Okay, here's the loop branch. We've executed this one item over here. So go back to canvas, we're connected. So if you go back to the AI agent, you will see that this loop over item is now visible. So now we need to do the prompt, okay? And we do define below and we tell what we want it to do mainly. And so what I'll do here is I'll paste in this and I'll paste in this over here. And the reason I'm doing this beforehand is because I want to tell the GPT what exactly we're defining. And that's one of the keys to prompting. I'll open this up in a larger window. So one of the keys to prompting is defining to the GPT what you actually want. We'll just go ahead and move the title to title. We'll just cut this, we'll do title, we'll do this. So we've got title and we've got article. Okay. So if you look at the preview over here of this is the result. So this is the article and this is the title. So this is what will be sent into the AI. So we can close this up. Then we can add the option to do a system message. And this is where we'll do another prompt. So what I've done with the prompt here is I said, you're a social media manager responsible for my business's LinkedIn profile. You will be posting on my personal professional profile. I need you to take the article and turn it into a useful, opinionated post for LinkedIn. The post should be easy to read, conversational, and up to 60 words. Okay, so you can do the prompt depending on your business. I'll go ahead and execute this step over here. Move myself to the left. Okay, so here's the output. OpenAI is exploring ads with ChatGPT. Response as a bold move that could define digital advertising, balancing user trust with revenue growth. So this is mainly the output that it's given me. We'll go ahead and pin this output. We'll go back to Canvas. And now, at this point, we want ChatGPT to send this post to us for approval. We just don't want stuff posted on our LinkedIn profile willy-nilly. So we'll click here and we will add, okay, so here's a Telegram, send a chat action. Okay, so I already have my Telegram account set up. I will run through the setup for you, but let's just focus on putting in all the action. So first will be message. This is my Telegram account, message, send chat action, chat ID we will get. action will be, so we'll do send and wait for response. Here's the chat ID, here's the message. We'll do response will be approval. And then now we have to go and set up our Telegram account. So one of the ways you can do that is to have a Telegram account to begin with. So you should be using Telegram. It's easy. You just sign up like you sign up for Google and stuff. And the next one is, I'll just go show you guys how to do this. It's getting the chat ID. So to get your Telegram chat ID, you go to this bot over here, raw data bot, okay? And you just send them a message. For instance, hello. Okay, I'll send the message hello. And in response, you'll get a chat ID, your first name, last name, and username. So we'll go ahead and we'll enter in the chat ID over here. This is the chat ID. And for the message, we want the AI output to be the message. So over here, under the agent, we will pull the output. So this is the output that will be sent to us on Telegram, and it will then wait for approval. When we execute step, we got a message on our Telegram. So you can see, we've got the message, and it says approve. Now, one of the problems here is that we also want the option to disapprove. So to do that, we go over here and we add an option, and we add approve and disapprove. Okay. Now we can retest this. Okay. So we've got true over here. We'll execute step. And now you see we've got the approve and the disapprove. So if we disapprove or we decline, you'll see that over here we'll get a false. Okay. So this has been set up correctly. Go ahead and back to canvas. Okay. So once we approve, we wanted to go to our LinkedIn post. But what happens if we disapprove? What do we want to do then? So that's a fork. So what we do here is we add an if then. There we go. An if then route. So I think we didn't pin the previous node and pin the previous node. Go ahead and we'll pin this. Okay. So now we hook up the if then. So over here, we've got value as equal to. So if approved is equal to true, this will proceed. So you can see you've got the false branch for one item over here. Proof is false. Well, actually, you want to set the proof is equal to. So we'll do another message over here and we'll execute this step. And we'll do an approve over here. And well, I'm going to pull those out. We've now got this as true because we want to make sure that we're making the decisions correctly. And so we will do if approved, true, and then we'll execute this step. Okay, so we've got the true branch, we've got true. So we know the false is working and we know the true is working. We'll go back to canvas and we will add another node for LinkedIn and create post. So here we have a few options. So I've already shown you how to set up your LinkedIn account, and actually let's just run through this real quick. So here, this is the 0auth URL. This is what you will copy into your LinkedIn profile, which is what we did over here, the authorized reader URL. So I hope you guys are enjoying the video thus far. If you have not subscribed yet, please subscribe. Mine is a brand new channel. I'm just starting out and there are a lot of projects that I have in mind. There's a lot of building we're going to do. So if you're not subscribed, subscribe, hit the bell icon, leave a comment, help me grow this channel. And let's get back to the video. We want the client ID. So the client ID will be this one over here. And then we want the primary secret. We can copy this and we can do in client secret. We'll paste that in. Then we want to turn off our organization support and we want to turn this off legacy. Okay. So once, let's close this out because I already have an account. I don't want to go ahead and create another one. So once that's done, you'll do a create as a person name or ID. Without grace, you can just pull it up from the drop down and in the text, This will be, the post that we've approved from the AI. So we'll take this AI post output. We will put this into text over here, and then media category. We just want article, and that's about it. So if you go ahead and execute this and execute, okay. So this was posted. So over here, you might just want to choose none. I chose article because the post contains an article URL, which means that we would be sending this in a URL, but we're not sending it a URL, we're sending it text. So I made a mistake over here. So this executed correctly. Let's go ahead and check out a LinkedIn profile. Okay. So this is my LinkedIn profile over here. And if you see, this was posted, it says posted now. This was just posted and it's the same, it's the same post that was created. Go ahead. I'll delete it because I already have a post. Okay. So we know that this works and we know that the decision works, but there's another problem. Once this is posted, okay, so once this is posted, one of two things will happen. This will not go back and loop through because we don't have a schedule over here. Because each time this is scheduled, we'll just have the same process running through, the same post will run through. So we want like the next post to run through. So if we say no, or we've already posted that on LinkedIn, we want this to loop to the next post. And so the way we do that is we'll take this false. So if we say no, this will loop back to the next post. And then even after we've posted, this will loop back to the next post. So this process will carry on again. And this pretty much covers it. Then you go ahead and say hit save and you're pretty much done. The one last thing you might want to do is like go back to AI agent and choose at least a 4.0 model for this because that's a lot better at doing these posts. So you'll go here to the chat model and you will choose like a GPT 4.0 or something like that, like a 4.0 or a 4.1 or even a 5.0 if you want to go that route. Just make sure that you're choosing a higher end model than the 4.1 mini, which is fine for tech dev. So hope you guys liked the video. Like and subscribe, leave a comment below, and I will see you in the next video.